Hello, hello, hello. I got a banana again today and my Trump t-shirt. Donald Trump forever. Okay, no, just wanted to mention this because it's a fact. Okay, we need him for as long as he exists. Okay, that's how long we need this man. Okay, that's how desperately the whole world needs him. But it seems like the vast majority of humans on this planet don't understand this because they have been brain dirtied by the corporate agenda. Okay, that's what happened. So, yesterday it was very, very hot. And today it's cold again. The temperature shifted by over 20 degrees Fahrenheit, just like that, from one day to the next. This is what I call the total bladder infection weather. The total bladder infection climate zone. That's what it is, okay? And that's why I have to go into the desert. Okay, that's why. So that is, my body is dictating that to me. Okay, I love it here, it's beautiful, but the weather shifts all the time, particularly during the summer months, and it shifts by over 20 degrees. And for someone like me with chronic bladder issues, or with like a hypersensitive bladder, yeah, it becomes very difficult because I'm never prepared for the temperature dropping. Okay, if the temperature goes up, yeah, that's okay. I might sweat. I have winter pants on for my bladder. Suddenly it gets really hot, like 80 degrees. I have winter pants on. I can take those off. That's not a big problem, okay? But when the temperature shifts downwards and it gets cold before I even realize it, like I'm doing something outside, I might be sitting in the garden, with shorts on. Suddenly the temperature shifts, and that's why I have to become very acutely aware at all times of the temperature around me, of my needs, and we all should do that, be acutely aware of everything around that's going on, temperature, people, environment, wind, weather, storm, clothes, our social needs, our physical needs. We need to eat, sometimes when I do my artwork, I can get carried away with that. And I forget to eat. Then before I know it, my blood sugar drops. Unimaginably terrible things come up from the past. That always happens when the blood sugar drops, and it's not fun. Okay. Paul made me delicious food today. He's really becoming a real gourmet whole food chef now. Fantastic. I'm so infinitely grateful. And we just have to not talk about primal therapy, so that's and then we can enjoy our food. He made me toast, like tastes like pizza, like homemade whole food pizza, all vegan actually, vegan whole food, and it's very easy to make. You just take whole grain bread slices. The best would be, of course, to make your own pizza dough, whole grain pizza dough. That takes a long time to do that, of course. He has made that a few times with yeast, and it's very complicated. That would be way too complicated for me, since I am impatient with those kind of things, and if I cook something, I eat everything before it's cooked. So, yeah, that's why I would never be hired by a gourmet kitchen or restaurant. And Paul wouldn't either, because he has unsanitary kitchen habits. They would say, "You're fired." And I can't even clean against the storm of that onslaught of grease pans and syrups and greases dripping. So I stay out of the kitchen as much as I can, because I felt overwhelmed. It's very overwhelming. I have to have my own home. I have to have my own kitchen area. Okay, I want my own commercial greenhouse, and I will create a kitchen in that commercial greenhouse. I will design my own kitchen, and I'll have that for myself, without any grease dripping, without 100 pots and pans. I'll have one ceramic pot in there. That's all I need, right, to cook pasta with, and that's all I do. I don't fry anything. I don't cook anything else. Okay? I might cook potatoes the German way, My grandparents, they used to peel potatoes. The most nutrients are in the skin, so you just have to wash them real good in baking soda, particularly if they're not organic. You have to probably soak them for a couple of hours in water with baking soda in it. It doesn't have to be super much baking soda, but like 2 tablespoons of baking soda in a pot or bucket with water, and you put the potatoes in that, or any kind of food plants that are not organic. And you soak them for a couple of hours, then you rinse it really well, and then you can cut them into cubes, and then you can prepare it. Tomatoes, I like to eat tomatoes raw. Potatoes, they taste kind of weird raw. You can eat them raw though. You can shred them into a salad, but I prefer them cooked, but with the skin on it. Cut them. I prefer everything organic anyway. The best is to grow it in your own greenhouse. That's what I'm aiming for. That is my future, okay? If I live long enough, that is my future. If I'm not shot before we finally get that commercial greenhouse, so that'd be really amazing. That's my ultimate dream, to have that. I mean, I also dream of getting that Bel Air property called The One. I think that's what it's called, The One. by Naomi. Okay. Created, designed by Paul McLean, star architect. That is my that's the how much does he want again? 500 million, I think, is what he wants. 500 million. Okay, well, he's not going to get that much money for that. Nobody's going to pay for that. But he's going to sit on that for the rest of his life. But in the meantime, I'm willing to do house sitting. So, if you see my video, yeah, I would definitely want to live there. We can do composting there too. And oh no, he would feel about that if he heard me say that. I want to be house sitting and do full force composting on that rooftop grass area. And then my question is, I wonder if that grass area, that big lawn, which is on a roof, actually underneath our rooms, so I wonder if that's grounded. That's another question. It might not even be grounded. And then what? I've been thinking about that a lot. That's an ungrounded house. Paul McLean he's not informed about these kind of physical, biological necessities. You know, has not been looking into these kind of things. So obviously he's busy designing homes and buildings. And he's really the best. I mean, in LA, definitely the best. So yeah, that would be absolutely incredible. I love the Mike Fields kinetic sculpture that's in it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I would fill the house with my own artwork. So yeah, but my absolute ultimate dream is definitely this glass dome on a huge glass dome just on bare land, where you get really grounded, you know, where you walk in there barefoot. You have almost like a tropical climate in there, even in the winter time. And if you have a warm spring or hot spring, that completely creates a warm climate. And you grow your own food in there, you know. You might have, you know, it can be very large. It can be like an acre of living space, you know. So grounded, everything grounded all the time. You sit on the computer during the day. You have your bare feet on the ground, on the grass, or in mud, or in a pool. And the pool, everything grounded, everything natural. You know, with mud in there and all of that. So, as much as I like tile pools that are absolutely gorgeous and stunning, I like mud ponds. I like to dig in there and take out mud and put it in my face and on my whole body and let that cake on and clean your pores and do some exfoliating massage with it, okay? And be totally immersed and grounded in nature, Okay, so that's really the ultimate. It really is, and every architect should really get into it, dive into that, into being grounded, into natural living. That's the future. Okay, that is the future for living anywhere you live. Okay, with composting, full composting cycle. It's a must, okay? It is a must-have for this earth, okay? To rescue the earth, to bring the nutrients back into the land, into the food, okay? They have depleted the food plants, because they have routed away the nutrients. They harvest and they don't put the dung back, okay? That's real serious. That caused food plants to be empty of nutrients, and then people didn't get these vital, important nutrients anymore, and that caused them a weak immune system. Then with pesticides and chemical fertilizers, and Rudolf Steiner warned about this, with all of that added, then the people's systems were overwhelmed. Okay, their immune systems were weakened, and the pesticides, constant bombardment of chemicals that should never be in the environment, that should never come into any body. Okay, then people's systems could not defy themselves, and their systems just were overwhelmed with it, and then it caused that what we want to avoid. Okay, so, but most people don't seem to be informed about this, and the reason why is because the corporate agenda, they think about profit maximization only. They don't think about what it does down the line. Okay. And they don't want other people to think about it either, because if other people think about it, then they might reform their lifestyle. Okay. And then they would be outside of that corporate range. They would be outside of that corporate enslavement cycle. And that's where we want to go. We want to get out of the corporate enslavement cycle. It's very important. And very, very important that you keep your animals protected from harsh climates. Very, very important. Okay. And in some areas it's getting so hot, it's getting over 100 degrees now in the United States. Inland, always inland, where it's not in the ocean air zones. Okay, the ocean air always cools things down. Water evaporation always cools things down. That's why you have to put sprinklers on your roof. Very important. Okay, very, very important. Keep your animals and children safe from the heat and also from cold in the winter time. Very important. That includes horses, cows, pigs, all animals. Okay, very important. And I highly recommend to people to never bring specific animals to climate zones on this planet where they're not native, where they're not used to that climate, where they bring penguins to south of France into a zoo or something. That's cruel. Okay, they need to be in the Arctic zones. Okay, or walruses. They bring them to warmer climates where they suffer. Okay? That's wrong. Or polar bears, for example, they suffer. Okay? Or when people bring tigers and lions or elephants or giraffes to Germany into a zoo, that's cruel. Okay, absolutely cruel. They need to be in tropical areas. And it's absolutely horrific what they do at ocean aquariums like SeaWorld, where they hold large whales captive in pools where they have to spend their entire life in those pools. And some of them have committed suicide because they couldn't stand it anymore. That's the absolute worst. It makes those animals crazy. They can't stand it. Okay. Say no to it. Don't go there. Don't support that. Don't support circuses either. It's cruel. Don't eat mammals anymore. Very important. Don't keep birds in cages. Those are the basics, basics of love philosophy, of ethics, ethical living. It's the basics. Think this through. Forget about what Glenn Beck or Pat Robertson says. So these people are very neurotic. Well, Pat Robertson's that's really the worst there is. People like that, fundamental religious brains, propagating misinformation, corporate agenda. The corporate agenda likes that. They want people stupid. They want people in fear. They want people dependent, politically, psychologically dependent on religion and so on. Say no to it. Think for yourself. Think ethical. Love. Okay. That's all we need to know. It's love sense. You don't need someone else to tell you that. You don't need someone else to tell you this is how you can live and this is how you can't live. This is how you can dress. This is how you can't dress. This is who you can love. This is who you can't love. This is who you can show yourself in public with. This is who you cannot show yourself in public with. And the list goes on and on and on and on. Okay. There's the kitty down there. The kitty boy is there. He has such a sweet voice. Such a sweet little angelic voice he has. But he's shy, he doesn't let us pet him. But I have two things there in the corner, cushion and old jacket, that I want to put in the garage and I want to create a cat winter box for them. I've done that before several times with old clothes, but I think Paul threw some of that away. I have to talk to him about this. When it gets cold again, we have to have one box for animals to go in and to stay warm in there in the winter time, in the garage. The animals get into the garage through the window. I hear the cats jump into the garage, and they need to stay warm. That's very important. They need to have a nest in there to sleep in, a comfortable bed, comfortable, warm cat house. Okay, that's what I want to create with the old cardboard boxes that we have in there, like really large cardboard boxes. Paul recycles those, but we need to save one for the cats. Very important. So, yeah, I also wanted to talk about psychology. My message is be nice to everybody. It doesn't hurt you to be nice to people. Okay. You can practice that. Be nice, be conscious, become conscious of your own needs, of someone else's needs. Become more sensitive towards other people. If you troll people, you will not get to know them better. They will not open up to you, their minds, their psychology. Okay. I'm an exception with this, so I open up to everyone, my mind, my psychology. Okay. Because I want to help heal the world. But most people, when they're being trolled, they will block the troller. They will block all the trolls. They will block all the bullies. They might troll them back, but if people troll someone, they will not get to know that person. They will not become friends with that person. The troll himself is afraid of closeness. I've seen that many, many times with many, many, many men on the internet. Because I'll be friendly no matter what. And sometimes they forget about the trolling and they become more natural. Their natural inner child comes up. And then suddenly they get scared of that situation. They get scared that they have suddenly become warmer or opened up to someone, and then they close back up because they feel uncomfortable with that. That's very sad, and it is out of trauma, of course, and I'm not gonna judge anyone harshly on it. It is trauma-based, okay? But we can heal this. We can heal all wounds. Everything can be healed. Everything. It's true. I know this with 100% certainty. I've seen it in my own life with my papa dog, with Kenny, even with Paul, if he applies the things that I advise him to do. There's a solution for everything in the world, in the whole world. Okay, this here is very healing, by the way. People don't understand how important these kind of toys are. Clays and kiddie clays and rubber type of toys like this, and art supply and earth clays for healing. It's very, very important to do all of this. So I'm gonna wrap it up now. Take care. Infinite love for all living beings.